Hello and welcome to a very special TalkNorwichCity opposition preview. Last time out, it was let's admit it, an expected loss, a predictable loss against the monster that is Manchester City, although these boys will have something to say about that up next. It's time to see whether we've got what it takes to beat Liverpool at Anfield. It's fine. They've not got Luis Suarez. It'll be absolutely fine. Who better give us the Liverpool latest, of course, than huge Liverpool fans and fellow content creators, the reddest of red men, of course, Chris and Paul from Red Men TV. Gents, how are you?
Yeah, it's just very warm in here. That's why we're so red.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I mean, you don't have to put your hand on my lap.
I know, yeah.
You should be
Whose hand's that?
Paul, what's the mood
now
like
we've gone red.
right now?
The mood is good. Yeah, the mood was. I think it wobbles. I think there's a mad degree of entitlement that's crept into a certain degree of Liverpool's online fan base, which is a little hard to take when you've kind of been doing this as long as we have, and you remember that we had Roy Hodgson as our manager, and we had guys basically stealing money out the football club at the ownership level, and now it's a bit like when Liverpool don't win every game, it's like complaining that you've got a slight scratch on the paintwork of your Ferrari. So it feels odd to be in that situation. But no, particularly having gone to the San Siro and beating Inter Milan, which was a big test. I think that's settled a few nerves, to be honest. Man City are an unstoppable juggernaut in the league. The fact that Liverpool are in still mild contention for that is good. Maybe less so for Norwich at the weekend. But yeah, no, I think we're doing reasonably okay.
Yeah, well, if you're counting reasonably okay as being one of the Milans away from home, then you certainly do have a warped opinion of football now. Chris, let's talk about the last time out you boys in the league. Of course, it was a 1-0 win away at Burnley, which everyone knows is a horrible fixture. What have you taken from that result, and how do you think that will affect how you shape up against Norwich come Saturday?
3 points and we'll never think about them again. That's the only thing that you can take away from Burnley, isn't it? They're just a complete aberration compared to everyone else in the league. The style of football they play, the way that they've kind of gone about things over the last few years, they're so sort of old school. I respect it, to be honest with you. I respect what Diaz has done with that money and stuff, but let's just forget about that game and let's focus on the next one. It's a cliche that each and every player in the Premier League uses, but when it comes to Burnley, there's no point in looking back. It's about moving on from them and forgetting about the tussle that you've just been in for those three points.
Such a horrible game, isn't it? Paul, is it possible for
It's the worst.
Is it Paul, is it actually possible for Norwich to hurt you at Anfield? Because I'm looking through your team and I'm thinking, no, we're not going to get through him. No, we're not going to touch him. No, we're not going to get past him. How are we going to stop him? Is there a single weak spot in this Liverpool team for Norwich to try and somehow break through?
Yes, at fine margins of things, but the teams that have hurt Liverpool more than others this season are the teams that have had to go. And we talked about this, the guys. The last time you guys were up as well, and you gave us one of the toughest games at Anfield, even though the scoreline didn't reflect it.
4-1 or
yeah, it was comfortable in the end, but having having pace on the counter attack is what hurts Liverpool. And if Norwich can muster that, then there's a possibility to hurt it. What the game plan has often been, stick it over Van Dijk's head, so that he's got to turn round and chase towards his own goal, and maybe see if it's Matip alongside him. You're looking to engage him and to come back in and cover. It's a long shot, but Brentford's got decent returns out of us. Brighton got good returns at Anfield as well. They turned the game around, so there's a chance. The problem is it's do or die, I think. And you can do and die as well, which is the problem with it. You go at Liverpool, you hope for the best. I think if Norwich come and decide to part the bus, I don't think it fits necessarily with how you play, and Liverpool will just pick them apart. Pick your poison, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I must admit, I'm listening to your comments there. Try and get it over Van Dijk's head. Even that is going to be a hell of a task. Although maybe
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Maybe hitting you guys on the counter might be it. We have got Mila Rashica now, who's starting to come into a bit of form, who I believe Liverpool was sniffing around once upon a time. Is that true?
I vaguely recall hearing that, yes. But that's
I
about
think-
as
I
far
think
as it
so.
goes, I think, yeah.
And I'll take it, even if you were slightly interested. I'll certainly take it. That's for sure. And Chris,
And his agent would have wanted that to be true.
Of course. Chris, who are the Liverpool players that you think could absolutely wipe the floor with Norwich at Anfield?
From the past or the present or the future? Because I've got certain answers from the past. Like I know there's a lad called Luis Suarez that did it time and time again. But the present players, the difficult thing for me now is probably thinking who Liverpool are actually going to start in this game. We went very, very strong, obviously, away from home against Inter Milan in the Champions League. But we left key players out, like the captain, Jordan Henderson, who comes on after 59 minutes in the midweek game, changes the game along with like Naby Keita. Firmino comes on at half-time for Diogo Jota. We haven't actually heard the full extent of his injury yet. We don't fully know, or I don't fully know whether it was precautionary or not at time of recording this, but he felt something in his ankle. There was talk about ligaments, but I don't know any more than that. So Diogo Jota probably, I would say, is going to be unlikely to feature in this one. Even if he's available, you just don't take the risk probably with Firmino and Luis Diaz and Salah and Mane and Minamino and Origi as options up front for us. And then it's the midfield. Who are we going to play? Are you going to play Thiago? Are you going to play Oxlade-Chamberlain? Are you going to play Keita? Are you going to play Henderson? Are you going to play Harvey Elliott? Are you going to play Kurt Jones? And I've probably missed James Milner out there. I don't think I mentioned Jordan Henderson. That's the tough thing is, but this is
It's an embarrassment of riches. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, you're right. And I think the big thing is like Klopp has for a few years, and we were talking about this last night. Klopp has for a few years had his first 11 and known who his best side is and played them every week. It's actually a bit of a problem in and of itself that he's come into now, where he's like, I don't normally rotate like this every game. How do I get these lads playing well and rotating in and out of the side once a week?
Yeah, there's definitely something in that where there's a couple of players who I think who are primed to have a good impact in this game, but there's also one or two where, just to go back to the earlier question about how Norwich maybe hurt us, is if Klopp is putting lads in because they haven't played for a while, because they need to play, does that upset a little bit of what we're doing? Curtis Jones hasn't made the last two matchday squads. Does he go straight back into the team? Oxlade-Chamberlain hasn't played now since we came back from the international break. Haven't played a lot prior to that. He's had COVID as well in that time. So is that a little bit of thing? The one that stands out for me, Chris touched about it very briefly, is Luis Diaz. I think he'll start, and having come right at the tail end of the transfer window, he's been
just the
brilliant.
name Louis. Did you see his face? Just the name Louis. Just watch him.
There's a chance we give him this one song if he scores in this game. Yeah, he's looked brilliant, but he hasn't got his goal yet. Feels like in front of the Kop, there might be an opportunity there at the weekend.
Oh God, boys, you're not warming me up for this, I have to admit. But it is interesting, right? Because of course we've got this weird situation where we've then got you in the cup immediately after. We also have the knowledge that you comfortably brushed past us at Carrow Road earlier on this season. I believe it's 3-0. Was it at home? I think it was anyway, unless I've forgotten that. Was it the League Cup there? And we cocked up a penalty, and you played a weakened side against us. And so I don't think we need to be worried about who we're coming up against. I think it's very much a case of we've just got to go for it and hope for the best. That's for sure. And gents, I really want to get your one-word answers out of you. Starting with you, Chris. Will you catch Man City and win the league? Yes or no?
Wait, you've only given me two. I can give you the one-word answer.
It's
maybe.
Not a one-word answer.
Maybe.
It's more than one word.
I'll take a maybe. Yes. I will take a maybe. But Paul, have you got bigger bollocks on you? Are you going to say yes or no?
Yeah, I think yes.
You think yes?
One-word answer. Yes, I think yes.
you Scousers, what are you like? Gents,
honestly though, like no, I don't want to do a one-word answer. I'm not playing your game, Revo. I'm not doing it. Like Liverpool, I believe that Liverpool can do it, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're going to beat a great side when they're 9 points behind or whatever it is at the moment. That's
Okay.
just stupid. You know what I mean?
I'm stupid. I'll say it because why not?
Let him do that.
You're stupid. We were wearing captain's hats last season. You just got to go all in, and it pays off, gents. It pays off. I'm telling you now.
I respect that.
Yeah, but
I respect that.
City fans should be wearing the hats. Is I guess the point in this because they are the ones who look like they're running away with it. But we live in hope, don't we?
Indeed. There have been some crazy things happen in football, and you've certainly got the squad to do so, particularly with Pep Roulette, as we all know it as. Gents, what are your honest opinions on Norwich City? Like full stop this season, what have you made of us from an outsider's perspective under Daniel Farker and now under Dean Smith? What are your thoughts and feelings towards our football club?
I think you've been a bit of a mess from what appears to me. You know, I don't know what the answer is to stop Norwich being a yo-yo club. I genuinely don't. I mean, the answer was clearly not Farker, but you've got to feel sorry. Well, yeah, having some money would be I think being able to actually really be a very good start. You know, there's obviously some football clubs who are doing it from different approaches. You know, like I suppose it must be galling when you look at like Brentford are not going to stay up comfortably, but you would imagine they'll probably stay up. And if they're able to stay up at the first attempt, there's got to be something where you got to look and go, God, what are they? I mean, I wouldn't say it means bin your reserve team off or whatever, or your academy or whatever it is they've done that up to, you know, maybe a bit drastic, but honestly, I like Norwich. I think Norwich are a good team, and I like the fact that they've got a commitment to playing good footy. And you don't want to end up in that situation where you're playing shit footy and getting relegated, because that's the worst. But there's got to be some hope that clubs like Brighton can stay up, and if Brentford can stay up, and Burnley, for God's sake, you know, they'll go down this season, but they've had a good old run in the top flight. Yeah. There must be something to take from that. But I don't know. I was a bit gutted at the City result last week because Norwich have, you know, they gave City some real bloody noses the last time around, and I was kind of hoping that might be something. I hope they don't impart that upon Liverpool this year. That would be nice. But yeah, it'd be good. It'd be nice to see if Norwich could just do a bit more damage to a couple of decent clubs and at least give you a good old ride, even if it does end in relegation.
I must admit, boys, I mean, I was half expecting you both to come on and give me a heartfelt thank you, because I think it's thanks to Norwich that we derailed Manchester City's chances of winning the Premier League when you got it. Do you not think that? I think we really 100%. Derailed Man City when you won the league. Do you agree?
Yeah, and it's good to see you thank Todd Cantwell for his role to play and all that. Like, yeah, no, we did. I was made up. That's what I say. I was with bated breath awaiting the City game with you guys last week, hoping it would all be the same again. But yeah, obviously, alas, no.
No, lightning certainly doesn't strike twice. That's for sure. This one's for both of you, and because I guess it's going to be really hard for you, or not. I always ask this question to opposition fans: if you had to sign a Norwich player for Liverpool right now, you had to, who would it be and why?
Come on, you go first. Just let me Google the Norwich squad a second. No, honestly.
Are we there?
I would go Josh Sargent, only for all the Captain America memes that you can make around him. And we just wheel him out for our pre-season tours and use him as a lightning conductor to bring a load more American fans over to what we're doing and stuff. But yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll be honest, it's tough. Like I did have a lot of time for Todd Cantwell, but I don't really know what kind of happened to his career really in the last year or so. I'd have definitely had a look at Emi Buendia prior to moving to Aston Villa, but I'll be honest, it's tough because there's just Liverpool are where they are, and I'm not mean to be like, I don't want to sound like a prick with it, but it's just there's lads who can't get on Liverpool's bench at this point in time who like are really good footballers. Like you know, like I said, Curtis Jones hasn't been in the last two matchday squads, and I think he's better than most of what Norwich have got in that team. So yeah, sorry.
And I'll be completely honest with you, I don't care about anything that goes on at that end of the league table. My knowledge of football has dwindled so much over the last few years. It's no slight. No, it's just that, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't affect my day. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to stay up that late and watch the end of match of the day. You're mad. Like, you know what I mean? We're on like the first couple of games. Like, I'm not going to keep going. That's just crazy.
No, but that's the annoying thing about where we've ended up. And you're right, we have changed. Is because there's only one other fixture now that's worth our time looking for, and it's City, and that's really depressing in its own way because they're really good. They're probably better than us, you know. At the moment.
Some people are out there going, "Oh, fucking hell! Like City, they score so early and all that." I'm like, brilliant, because at least 3 minutes into the game, I can switch it off. I don't want to sit there for 87 minutes and watch them score a last-minute winner and waste an hour and a half of the time. At least they're 4-0 up after 3 minutes or whatever. I can just go, "All right, Sam, they've won again."
Well, look at Everton, Man United, the crap. There's just no fixtures to look out for anymore, is there? It's just, but at least we're good. It's something.
And they are seriously crap. You must be really enjoying United being crap. They are terrible this season, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's magic. I literally sent you a screen grab of someone on Twitter. Was it yesterday or the day before? Like just drinking in Pablo, and he's like glorious.
Yeah, just honestly, it's gotten to the point where I kind of, I'll be honest, I'm getting a bit bored of it. I need the next twist in the tail, to be honest, because they're just really average now. You know what I mean? They're crap, and it's not like. Like you can only belly laugh for so long before you have to kind of like,
they're in the
the Champions League coming up will be the big next, I think, guffaw about Man United is if they go out in embarrassing circumstances, then that will be the next roar of laughter from our perspective. But I mean, look, I often wonder whether I'd like them to be in a similar situation to what you guys have had with Ipswich. Like, can they just be? Can we be a division apart from them? Would that how hilarious would that be for a bit? I'd certainly I'll give it a go in the interest of science.
Well, so I'm like that with Everton. I'm like, no, I don't want them going down. I don't want them having fun. I just want them to be irrelevant, 10th to 16th every single year, not really do anything. Don't want them all. Don't want the Toffee TV lads wearing HMS Pistol League sailors caps for a year. You know what I mean? I don't want that joy in their life. I don't like them, and I will not allow them that joy even for a season. You get a year of winning, you get a year of getting beat, you go back, you win, you enjoy yourself. No irrelevance in the middle of the Premier League table. That's what their life should be.
Yeah, that is gorgeous. I can confirm that the Ipswich relationship is glorious though. Being a division apart. You know, undefeated in over 10 years. Like, that's so long. Like, it's gorgeous because they're just in the middle of League One, just slowly but surely rotting away. And it's lovely. Because as you said, Chris, you know, you want that slow, miserable, grinding down pain. You don't want them to have any joy in their life. So great shout on that. Anyway, that was very off topic. I must say, Paul, you've changed. You're all about the marketing now. You've picked Josh Sargent because you think he'll sell more shirts in America. I thought better of you.
I just really liked him being photoshopped onto Captain America's body. That was cool. I really like that. It's too much of a shoe-on job for us to try and do that with any other Liverpool player. Like, so no, I'm all in on that.
No, you are scraping the barrel, to be fair, on that question, and I certainly don't blame you. And Chris, in terms of this game at Anfield, like, are you honestly, and I'm sure you will be because it's what you guys do. Are you expecting this to just be like a complete walk in the park cricket score, or do you think there's the potential for this to be actually quite a difficult game for Liverpool?
I don't know. There's a tendency, isn't there, sometimes when you go up against the side that you've beaten over and over to sort of think it's going to be easy. I don't know. I tend to think it's going to be easy when it's going to be hard. Like, I don't know what it is about me. Like, I thought we'd walk it last night into Milan, and it's a difficult game. The problem is, as a Liverpool fan, and it's not a problem, I'm completely lying there, is we're really, really good at the footy. And we tend to win loads and loads and loads of games off the footy. And it tends to be really, really enjoyable going the footy. And that's going to be tough for Norwich. And genuinely, like, we're playing really, really well. And you would, if you looked at Liverpool Twitter, you wouldn't think that was the case at all, because they lose their heads at everything. Paul mentioned it at the top there about there's this sort of entitlement that creeps in. And we saw it happen with the Man United fan base for years and years. They just couldn't get their head around like drawing or losing games. And it's unfortunate, but I feel like the football Twitter fans are there. The match going fans are completely different. Like, we're all still like supportive of our side and stuff like that. And there's such a huge sort of chasm between the two now that actually, you know, finding out what a Liverpool fan thinks on Twitter, I'm not sure it's quite right anymore, to be honest.
Yeah. It's things are going nice. Things are going pleasantly, and yeah, we should. Liverpool should win this comfortably. They just should. But the thing that Liverpool have got going for them, and maybe it's a slight mentality shift, is I don't know. We might, I think if we're going to blow teams away, it'll be one of those. We'll do it early. But if Liverpool don't do it early, I still think they'll win. But I don't think there's any great need to go flat out, because they're trying to juggle a lot of competitions at the moment. And I think, that's my point. I don't think Liverpool will put their best, strongest team out at the weekend. And I don't think they'll do the same for Leeds, because they've got 2 games there. They've got to win, but they've also got to make sure that everyone's primed for the League Cup final next weekend against Chelsea as well. So that might undercut a little bit of what they're trying to do. But it would be, I don't know, again, it would just be weird to sit here and say Norwich will definitely get something, because I don't think that's possible to say that. But I would say that there's a couple of examples where Liverpool have gotten a little sloppy and a little arrogant in the play.
Yeah,
we nearly threw it away against AC Milan at Anfield. We did throw 2 points away against Brighton. We threw 2 points away against Brentford. A different game, different opponents, of course, but we threw 2 points away against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge as well, by just not putting our foot on the throat and killing the games off. We've been better since the turn of the year. I think we only conceded a couple of goals since we've actually come back into 2022. So it does bode well for Liverpool and less well for Norwich. But yeah, it's got the potential to be a big score. There's no getting away from that.
I do, just on this team, on the team section thing, it's going to be fascinating actually for a couple of maybe unorthodox reasons. One is I'm actually thinking that Liverpool might weirdly play a stronger team for our cup game than the league game. I'm thinking that. And I'm also thinking Norwich aren't going to play our strongest team, because this isn't a game that we can target realistically to go all out in. For example, Matthias Norman that's coming back into fray at the moment. He's our main man in midfield. I've got this strange suspicion that we're just not going to play him. We're going to keep him wrapped up in cotton wool for the more winnable games. So it will be really interesting to see how both managers approach this one for sure, and to see what the score is. What did you lads think of our game at the start of the season? It was again a very comfortable win for you at Arrow Road in the league. Salah with a ridiculous strike as always. What did you think of that performance, and what did you kind of take away from it? Did you think, here we go again, we're looking good, or were you thinking actually there's a lot of areas that we could improve at that stage?
I think when Norwich come to town, I think there's no disrespect at all, but I just feel like you can't look at that as what your season's going to be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just a case of it is a side that Liverpool have to go out there and beat. Liverpool, when they're at their best, should beat Norwich 9-10 times out of 10. The worry is that we're getting into that sort of slot where they owe us one now, and something mad might happen. But going back to that game, I just thought it was a good performance by Liverpool. They did what they needed to do, and they got the 3 points and again, kind of moved on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I felt it that way as well. It was comfortable for you actually, and I think it said a lot about what we were like under Daniel Farke around the mindset and mentality going into that one. And lads, let's get to the crux of this conversation now. The thing that I am going to force you to do, which is to give us a score prediction. However, on Talk Norwich City, we do it differently. What is your head saying, and what is your heart saying? We'll kick off with you, Paul. Score prediction. What's your head saying and heart saying?
Head says 3-0. Heart says 5-0.
Chris, what are you going for?
Head says 2-0. Heart says 4-0.
Slightly more conservative. I'll take that. I think I think my head is saying this is 4-0 Liverpool. As I say, I don't think we're going to be targeting this game, which seems so defeatist and very strange for me to come out with, but I just don't see how we're going to get past you, and what you guys have got at your disposal is ridiculous. My heart, and I promise you that I haven't had any Lakens today. My heart is saying that maybe somehow this will be the result of Norwich's season and we'll somehow scrape a draw.
And this is why we love you guys so much, by the way. Genuinely, this is why Talk Norwich has remained our favourite non-us YouTube channel this whole time, is because that is why. That is the attitude.
Mate, if you're not deluded and just completely...
What's the point?
Drunk
What is the point?
Then...
Well, no, but what's the point? You might as well all pack. This is the thing, and this is why I say I love it, and this is the beauty of football, is that you might as well pack up and go home. You know what I mean? Like, sack it all off, follow a different sport for a few months. You know what I mean? The Winter Olympics in full flow. Go and give that your full attention, all that kind of stuff. But like, no, you've got to have the hope. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
It makes it more glorious, though, doesn't it? Like you mentioned that Man City win that we had. You know, that was genuinely iconic for us. You know, David versus Goliath stuff, and those wins do mean more when they come around. And as you both have admitted, maybe we owe you one, and maybe the time has come. Chris and Paul, thank you so much, boys, for coming on. Absolute honour to speak to you both, as always.
Pleasure.
Cheers, man.
And thank you so much to everyone for watching. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Get involved in the conversation on social media. We're at Talk Norwich City. If you have watched the opposition preview, grab a screenshot of your screen, chuck it on social, and I'll retweet all of them as a thanks for your support. Fingers crossed the next time I speak to you, lovely lot, will be after the biggest miracle of this Premier League season. On the ball, City.